make sure my shit don't fuck up. All right, but not everyone needs a podcast. By my son Cameron.
Conversation with your homies.
Too loud. Too loud.
That does not mean that you need to start a podcast. Look, I'm going to be the one to say it. Just because you have one good conversation with your homies, that does not mean that you need to start a podcast.
Yo, me and Brandon and Jason, whoever, we definitely gonna start one, I ain't gonna lie.
Tired of dudes talking about aliens once, then thinking that they have the right to buy a Shure SM7B from Best Buy. Now they got a podcast called Alien Talks that's just uninteresting and dry. The host sucks, the friends suck, and even the podcast name sucks.
Wait,
you're not the next Joe Rogan, bro. Put the mic down and put the fries in the bag. Someone's gotta say it. Remember that one relative that told you that you weren't making it to the NBA when you were like 5 years old? Just think of me as that. Hey, everyone needs a little bit of tough love in their life. Not everyone can be nice in
Nigga, Justin felt this
world, and I'm gonna be the boogeyman here saying how your podcast sucks and your friends are boring. Maybe you should think twice before you take that trip to Best Buy. See, the problem is that this world is way too nice now, and now we have podcast clips of dudes talking about how they want their mothers to have good sexual experiences.
Excuse me?
Because I love my mom, I want her to come. I don't know if this is weird to say.
What the fuck? What the fuck? I love my mom, I want her to come. I do a YouTube. I don't know about podcasts. Might be talking. Bro, do you hear what this nigga just said? He loves his mom so much. So much. He wants her to come. He wants her to orgasm. Can you believe that? Wow. Wow. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Oh.
But I want my mom to
Before I continue, let me finish the video.
have flawless experiences.
How do you not know if that's weird to say? Like, oh my gosh, I want my mom to have great
Like,
sexual
oh my god,
experience. That is weird.
I want you to
That's
have
so
that.
weird.
And I want you to have that as well.
What
So
the
it's like,
fuck?
is that weird to say? Like, I genuinely want my mom to be getting down good.
I'm gonna give you some tough love right here, you know?
Oh my god. Oh my god. That's so bad. That's so bad. I think we good. If it starts freezing, fuck. I gotta finish the video though. You feel me?
This is going to be the toughest love that you've ever felt. This love is going to be tougher than a well-done steak. You need to stop podcasting, bro. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Never in my life have I ever thought about my mom having good sexual experiences. Y'all are just odd
So
human
weird.
beings. What even sparks this conversation? Like, how do you even get to this point? And why was this video even uploaded to the masses, bro? We need to start telling people no more often. You know what, man? I'm thinking about starting a podcast. No,
nigga. Shut that shit down, nigga. Fuck you and your dreams, nigga.
Bro, put the mic down. At this point, it needs to be easier to buy an RPG from
my
a gun
God.
store than it is to buy a microphone from Best Buy.
My
Because I
God.
promise you, if there were background checks for mics, we would
Not too much on Best Buy, bro. Wait, what do you think I got this shit? You feel me? Not too much.
be nowhere near this point. It feels like everyone has a podcast nowadays. And when I say everyone,
Yo, Chad,
I
we making a
mean
podcast.
Everyone. NBA players, rappers, children. The Hawk Tua girl just started a podcast called Talk Tua. Don't get me wrong.
Talk
Shout out to
Tua.
her for running up a bag off that one phrase, you know? I saw that she got 30K for popping out to a club a few weeks ago. Like, kudos to her, you know?
What the fuck did she do?
But why would I want to hear that woman speak for
Right.
2 hours straight each week about current events in her life? I mean, for crying out loud, she got famous for talking about how she spits
You gotta
on
be
the
spicy
pee.
with it. I'm gonna talk about. I ain't gonna lie. If I start a podcast, I'm lying on my ass. Like I'm talking about shit that never happened, shit that never will happen. But it's gonna sound believable. Like that ass shit. Have no conversation. Oh.
Why am I supposed to care about what this woman has to say? Does she really need a podcast for saying Hawk Tua and spit on that thing? The world
Nah,
could
that's
go
so
without a
right.
podcast from this woman. You know what? Maybe I'm just hating. You know, maybe why don't I just check out one episode?
Can't do it as good as
Do
Haley.
it.
You do it.
No, you do it.
Hot to.
There you
You
go.
gotta put
That shit was so ass. So ass. Oh my god.
like an emphasis on it, like tuh. You know, like really. Yeah. Say it. All right, all together.
Hot to.
Hot tuh.
Hot to.
Say it aggressive, like
Hot
really.
to.
After watching one episode of the Talk to a podcast, I wanted to announce that I am quitting YouTube and becoming a full-time
real.
neurosurgeon, astronaut, and monk, all because of this podcast. This is one of the most enlightening podcasts that I have ever watched, and I just wanted to say thank you, Hawk Tua Girl, for opening my third eye and helping me evolve as a human being with your phenomenal podcast. I really appreciate you. All jokes aside, no hate to her. She's just capitalizing off her opportunity like any other human being would in her position. But
opportunity. What the
overall, I
fuck?
just don't think there's anything really interesting about this woman that sets her apart from all these other podcasts out there. Yeah, she may be able to get some great guests on there because the podcast is connected to Better, which is a sports
that?
media company co-owned by Jake Paul. But at the end of the day, like, the guests can only carry her so far, you know? Like I said, there's not much interesting about this woman. She got famous for saying how she spits on the nutsack, you feel me? But like I said, she's just capitalizing off of a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Podcasts, after all, aren't the hardest thing to do. Podcasting is one of those things that I believe is easy to start but hard to master. The bare minimum is to get a few mics, sit down with some friends, record, chat for a little bit, and boom, you got a podcast. Like, it's not that hard. And if you already have an audience, it makes creating a podcast even easier. Because if the audience you've garnered cares to watch you for like maybe a few seconds or a few minutes each day, they'll for sure listen to you talk for about 2 hours each week. So it makes sense to why so many people are starting podcasts nowadays. But like the title says, not everyone needs one. While some of them are good, some just feel like people talking just to talk. Like, I wouldn't even call some people's podcast a podcast. I'd rather call it mic terrorism. The other day, I saw a podcast clip of two dudes talking about lefty loosey, righty tighty being the greatest invention.
What the fuck? What is lefty loosey and righty tighty? Yo, I seen the one clip of Shaq Token and Angel Reese. Yo, I ain't gonna lie, it was bad. Like,
I'm not imagining. Let me finish. Imagine you in the same little shirt you had on at the Wild 'N Out show, Duncan. You know how many t-shirts you gonna sell, cuz? You tripping.
Oh my
what?
God.
What?
God.
The same little shirt you had on.
Okay, all right,
Duncan,
all right.
Bro.
All right.
it was bad. Like, I saw the comments on Instagram. It was tearing Shaq apart. I ain't gonna lie. Me and my friends were watching. I mean, yeah, but like, that's because y'all are from like ATL. You know, it's ATL. That's normal.
Of all time.
Lefty loosey, righty tighty is the craziest invention of man. I use that all the time. The saying lefty loosey, righty tighty. We just got a new machine. It's like it's called an articulating log loader.
Yeah, what?
It sounds like my toilet paper.
Yeah.
There's forks like this that picks up a log and then it can open and close on it, and the left button opens it and the right button closes it. And I literally say to myself, I'm like, lefty loosey, righty tighty when I need to let go or grab on. It's the
Yo. I think she was left. Yo, that was the most unfunny shit I've ever heard. Like, actually, this is bad, bro.
lefty loosey. I might get that tattooed on myself.
Like, no offense to these two dudes at all, because they're probably great people. I could probably sit down, chop it up with them, eat a steak, and just vibe out with these dudes. But there's got to be something way more interesting to talk about than a saying used for when you're screwing something in. Like, what's next? Are we gonna talk about bunny ears being the best method to tie your shoes, or
yo, I don't know any other method besides bunny ears. I don't know any other method. I still don't.
Even shit.
I was tying one of my because I work with like third graders and like in the school. I was tying their shoes and he was like, "Why do you tie your shoes like that?" Bro, I don't know any other way, bro. Just so.
To being the best rock there is. This conversation just feels so bland and pointless. Like, if an alien were to imagine two human beings talking, I'm pretty sure it'd think of this AI generated ass convo right here. Like, this is the product of podcasts being so easy to start up. We now have dudes talking about screwing mechanisms as a topic of interest. Like, I don't think every conversation has to be important in a podcast, but there's no way that these dudes copped some premium podcast mics, got the setup and everything just to talk about lefty loosey, righty tight. This podcast just has no meaning at all. It's just yip and yap going back and forth about nothing. I swear these podcasts just get worse and worse, bro. Like, there's too many podcasts now, and what more is there really to talk about? We gotta sit here and like just think for a second. What more is there really to talk about?
I feel like people who have that fan base, they would do the best in podcasts because they can talk about their own experiences. But a lot of these niggas, they just talk about bullshit, bro. It is what it is.
About. Instead of having to get a degree for a job, people need to start getting a degree for a podcast. Like, let's just be real.
I got a high school degree.
Is there really a need for a podcast where frat dudes talk about Hawk Tua?
Bro, I don't know if you heard of the Hawk Tua girl.
Yeah.
Hawk
Spit on that thing.
Bro, that blew out of proportion. Like I low-key think it got too big.
You think?
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've seen the clip, but good for her, I guess. I don't know.
No,
Like they're actually talking about nothing right now. Nothing. They just talking to talk. They're putting words in the air and just letting it float there, connect, whatever, bro. They're not talking about shit. I've said it more in the last 10 seconds than they have in this clip.
it's everywhere, dude. Even at like Old Town, you'll hear Hawktua remixes.
Stop.
Really?
Stop.
Yes.
Bro, I think it's crazy that you can like do one little thing and a clip can go viral and then all of a sudden the next day you're like a celebrity. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Yo, this guy in the comment section even gets it. This man said podcast equipment should cost $1 billion. I totally agree. I'm not gonna lie, like no offense to these dudes, probably some great people, but I'd rather drag my balls
just said
to
they're
the
frat
hot
dudes.
Sahara desert than listen to these frat dudes talk for 2 hours straight. You best believe I'm serving a life sentence before I listen to Jimmy and Tom from the Beta Theta Sigma frat talk on a podcast for 2 hours. Like this podcast is
I wanna
just
go to a
drier
frat
than a
party. This
Popeye's
one.
biscuit. There is no energy at all to this conversation. And you may be thinking like, bro, you can't judge off of just one clip of the podcast, you know? This is every clip.
What is your favorite frat?
I don't know. I like how big SAE's parties are and like
Yeah.
Lambda, but like I think ASIG just threw a really cool party. So
I
think-
heard, dude.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Kyle was just on. He's
Oh, I
amazing.
heard, dude.
Yeah. It was a
That's
really
dope.
good party.
This podcast just sucks. This convo
It does.
just sounds so generic and bland.
Yep.
No energy at all. Just, what's your favorite frat? I like SAA. They're big. Oh my god, I heard Kyle's there. Like, get this off the airways, bruh. Like, what did Joe
Right.
Budden say?
That shit is a 2-pack of ass.
I genuinely wish I could take back the
Oh,
few
man.
seconds of my life I wasted watching that podcast clip because now I just feel 10x
Yo, I thought I
dumber
was
than
muted.
what I was before. I feel like one of the keys to a great podcast is an entertaining host because there's going to be boring parts to a podcast and it's up to the host to make that podcast interesting when it's getting dry. But the problem with this podcast is that the host has the personality of a raw chicken wing. So when he talks
Wow.
about boring topics and he's also boring,
Wait,
that just
who?
makes the podcast 10 times more
Oh, the
boring.
same white
Another
guys?
problem
Okay.
with everyone starting a podcast is that some people don't believe that they need to do proper research before they record. Like a little bit ago on Twitch, there was this streamer named Jason the Ween who hit 100,000 subscribers, you know? He was number 2 on Twitch for his amount of subscribers in that month. And then there was this shitty TikTok podcast called the 949 podcast that decided to give their opinion on the whole situation. And note, they're not really knowledgeable when it comes to this whole streaming space. So this was their take.
Streaming is the new wave. It's
It
'cause-
is.
Yeah. It's just, but the thing is, it's the new wave because of clips.
Exactly.
Like Jason the Ween, guess how many live viewers he has? Just guess.
Depends on the time.
Just guess.
Like
you guys
5K?
guess. Well, how many live viewers do you think he got?
Like 3K?
3K. So like he's like a number 2.
What they about
I
to say,
guess,
bro?
Like, well, he has like around 15 to 20.
Oh,
Oh wow.
I'm saying.
that's
But
pretty good.
But the thing about it, like, that's not that good in terms of like views.
Bro, what? You know how hard it is to get 15 to 20,000 people watching you at the same time? You know how hard that is?
I feel like it's good for
Like, I think they're about to say something smart.
live.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
That's-
It's good for live, but think about the people in the world. It's only 15K.
15K,
So
yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Streaming is not.
Bro, my nigga, you hop on a live stream. Let me see you pull 10, bro. That shit is hard, bro.
Like a mainstream
What the
thing
fuck?
yet.
Big,
It's only
yeah.
mainstream because of the clips that they put out after,
Yeah.
Right.
which get millions and millions of views.
right.
But no one's actually watching that shit live.
Yeah. No, literally, bro.
There's a few things that piss me off
Like,
about
what
this
the
dookie
fuck?
TikTok podcast.
LT.
Number 1, this man is saying streaming is only big because of clips. Yeah, because nobody's gonna sit there and watch an 8-hour stream front to back, you fucking idiot. So to make it more digestible
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you
for
don't
the
know at
average
all.
viewer, streamers and their audiences make clips
This
so
shit-
that
this shit was
more
funny.
people
I see
can
this.
see their streams. What's so bad about that? Another thing this man says is 15K live viewers isn't good views because the clips get millions of views. That's how the internet works. And 15K
Stupid
is
nigga,
good
bro.
because it puts him in the top 0.1% of streamers. Like, why is it surprising that a live stream has less views than a TikTok video? Are we becoming this slow in society where we can't comprehend that a live stream that you have
Bro, just scrolling on TikTok, that's a view right there, bro. You have a nigga sitting on your live stream for however long. That's way different, bro.
to watch live has less views than a video where you can watch whenever. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he has a mic in his face with the cameras on. This podcast just sounds like one huge gossip session. That's the problem with a lot of these podcasts. Some of them are just gossip sessions. Another situation of a podcast host not knowing what they're talking about is this one right here. So a little bit ago, there's a situation with Kai Cenat, right? He had a cameraman that was talking to an underage girl, and
wait, I ain't read that. I never seen messages. I ain't gonna lie.
To an underage.
This should make my head itchy, bro. Oh my god, bro. That should just make my head itchy, bro.
Girl, and this podcast decided to put out their take on it because, hey, it was a fresh topic. Why don't we say something about it? You know, why don't we do it for the clicks and engagement? And this is what they had to say.
Kai Cenat, everybody can't go. You need to start looking around. And I know, like, black people specifically, when you get some success, you want to bring everybody with you, but you got to be able to kind of weed that shit out. I should have known who Chris V is. I should have known who Chris Next Door is.
What
but Chris Next Door is literally.
What the fuck? This thing is literally a staple, bro. He's the editor. He was the editor. Nigga, he's part of the fucking team, nigga.
An AMP member. What do you mean that you shouldn't know who he is?
I should know who Kai Cenat is because you are the driving force in it, but them I shouldn't even know who they are.
I think it's important to highlight that Chris Next Door is an AMP member. If you guys don't know what AMP is, that is Kai Cenat's group.
That's the problem. Kai Cenat shouldn't have a group.
Yo,
Kai Cenat joined the group before he became this huge mega
sub.
streaming machine. This dude knows nothing about what he's talking about. He's just saying a hot take because he's on a podcast.
That's how they got on.
Yeah. Having a team and making it with your team is very important. But if there are problematic people in there, kick them out immediately.
But you gotta know when you are the one, like he is the one. I get it.
So he should abandon everybody?
Yes.
He did not do this.
I heard this shit months ago. This is so dumb, bro. He came up with these niggas. Why would he just abandon them? Because he's like the most popular one. That's so dumb. Eating a lot of candy. That's what's up. You went trick-or-treating early?
Alone, like there was a journey of a camp of them,
came together.
and I agree. Like this problematic person, this person that was underage girls, he has to go.
Andrew
He,
1047 just followed.
Thank you for the follow, my boy. Appreciate it.
Now that we are here, and it's the second, third, however many times something like this has
shit,
happened. Because now it can't.
I go like 5 times a year. Damn, bro. I ain't been trick-or-treating in years, bro. I gotta go this year. I have to. But I don't have a fucking... I don't got a bucket. I'm about to bring my book bag. They gonna have to deal with that. I ain't gonna lie.
Happening. You have to insulate yourself because at the end of the day,
like,
that
he's not supposed to have
doesn't
a
mean
fucking
anything
group.
without him.
That is cap. Because
So cap.
everyone actually
So
knew
cap.
themselves before they were in AMP. That's why it works so well as a group, because everyone had their own platform before joining.
Bro, this nigga Kai Cenat was like the 5th member to join, bro. Like, Kai Cenat wasn't that famous. He wasn't as famous as like Duke Dennis, an agent who already had like 1 million subscribers and all that. Like, Kai Cenat, bro, it's just a dumb take, bro.
Except for Chris, he kind of created his platform after, but he was still pretty known. But this guy just knows nothing about what he's talking about, and this is my problem with so many of these podcasts. Like, if you're gonna put out a statement on any current topic, you gotta do the research to back it up. You're gonna end up looking like an idiot. You can't just go in willy-nilly on something that you know nothing about. That's why a lot of bigger podcasts like Joe Rogan have someone who can fact check, which is Jamie on his podcast. And if you can't afford someone to be in that spot, you should just look it up yourself before you put out this idiotic take on something you know nothing about. Like, there's a difference between a hot take and just a bad and uneducated take. And this right here is what I consider an uneducated take, because he just lacks the knowledge on what he's talking about. I like how some people on the podcast are like trying to tell him like, yo, it's not like this, it's kind of like this, but he just doesn't want to listen. He just decides to be ignorant. I swear some people just get a mic in their face and their brains just go to mush. They don't know what they're talking about. I seen a dude the other day talking about how you need to stop wearing Nike socks with shoes for no reason at all, just because he said so.
Stop wearing Nike socks with shoes, bro, or a designer shoe. Even if you wear Nike socks with some Air Force Ones, just stop doing that, bro. I'm sorry, bro. I just can't see no.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. Nobody gives a fuck what you think about what socks go with what shoes. I ain't gonna lie. It really don't matter. Like, it really don't.
Nobody wear no Nike socks with a pair of shoes, bro. Like, what are you doing?
So what do they wear Nike socks with, my nigga? Sandals? Slides? Crocs?
That's crazy.
What do your socks have to do with anything on your fit? I understand if somebody says stop wearing a Nike shirt with Adidas pants, like that does
Right.
kind of make sense, but stop wearing Nike socks with shoes? Why? Why don't you tell us why? Why? I think people gotta realize it's fine.
Yo, I gotta buy sneakers, bro. I'm not a shopper, bro. I got like 3 pairs of sneakers, bro. I just been rotating them shits in and out, bro. I'm about to buy like 4 pairs, and then that's it. That's done. I'm done for the next 10 years.
Fine to have conversations without them being recorded. You know, we need to start stripping cameras and microphones away from society. Everyone has a voice, but not everyone's voice needs to be heard.
Facts.
And this is a video about
Not me, though.
podcasts. There's another thing I got to get on my chest, bro. Alpha male podcast.
Oh,
this podcast
no.
format honestly just needs to retire.
Oh my
like when I tell you, these
God.
podcasts are one of the worst things to ever hit the internet, because after these podcasts hit, all people would argue about is who was worse, women or men. I hate this whole argument, because can we all just agree that men do bad things and so do women? Men lie and women lie. Are we done now?
Black
Like,
and golden,
I hate
Air Jordan, black and golden. I gotta be the 12s. I gotta be the 12s, right?
this whole format of podcasts. But yeah, not everyone should have a podcast. Don't just think because you have one good conversation with your homie that you now need this full Joe Rogan podcast setup. No, you don't need that at all. You don't even need a podcast, bro. What you need is a muzzle. But all that being said, this is gonna wrap up the video. If you guys made this far, I appreciate you. Twitch, Cameron, WAK, Discord, link in the description. If you guys enjoyed this video, then I highly recommend you guys check out my most recent video. It'll be right up here on the screen. All that being said, thank you guys for watching. It's Cameron, and I'm out.
The MP6s. Oh, you right. It could be those two. WVid.